Hi, this is Simon Upstill and welcome to another tutorial for Apple Motion. And today I want to show you how to create this incised text effect. So quite a subtle, elegant look. Let's take a look at how it's done. Okay, so for our project, let's go with 1920 1080, frame rate of 24 frames a second, duration of 10 seconds. Let's come over to the library, grab the color solid, bring that in. Let's make the color solid black. And then let's grab our text tool and let's type out our text. So there's my text. I'm going to center align it, make it nice and big like this. Center it up over here. Reduce the line spacing a bit like that. And just adjust the baseline till it's nice and centered up. Maybe just reduce the scale just a little bit like so. So I've used this font called Koritaki. Oops. And I don't want book. I want this extra lightweight. Think a nice lightweight works best for this effect, but you can try whatever you want. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just invert this. It was much easier to put white text on black than the other way around. So let's just select the group and select negative, and now we've got it the other way around. Let's now make a new group and drop this group into it. So the first thing I want to do with this group is to come to blur and Gaussian blur, and let's have an amount of something like 32. And the next thing I want to do is to come to filters and stylize and relief. Now what we want to do here is we want to set the back size to 0.9. We want to zero out these back positions, so zero both of those out. That, and maybe increase the fuzziness to 0.25. So then I'm going to come to filters and stylize and indent. Now what I want to do is add color levels just below that indent. And you'll see why in just 1 second. So color levels just above the relief, below the indent. Now, whatever I do with this levels is going to greatly affect what happens with the indent. So I'm going to go with something like that. You can see how interesting that is. If I turn both of those off, I do quite like this sort of soft, ghostly look, and that's certainly a viable way to go. I'm just going to experiment, however, with this more chiseled look, because when it's animated, it actually looks quite nice. So let's now just have a look at some animation. Let's select our text. Let's come to behaviors, text animation, sequence text. Let's add face color. And let's, for the color, have 40% gray. So 0 saturation, 40% brightness. And if we run that, you can see that we're getting this pretty interesting sort of chiseling effect. They're almost like writing themselves on. So let's have a spread of, I think, 20. Let's set the direction to random. So they come on randomly. It's going to be a lot more interesting. Let's, for the speed, have ease out. And so now that's going to look like this. It's a pretty interesting look, I think. And then we can just grab our text. We can come to properties, Z position, add parameter behavior, ramp, have a start value of 200 for that, and then now sort of drift back there like that, which looks quite nice, I think. But just to finish off, I want to point out that anything we put into this group here, the original group, is going to be affected by the overall process. So I'm going to select my circle tool and I'm going to draw out a little circle like that, and you can see we've now got a cutout. Move it up to the top there. Let's just center it up on X. Let's come to object and replicate, and let's have one row, and let's just widen out the size, and you can see we've got these little portholes at the top there. Quite interesting the way that all works now. One final little trick that's probably quite interesting is to come to here just after the Gaussian blur, and to come to filters and stylize and add noise. And you can see we've now got this really interesting patterning, and we probably want to just add after that a color hue saturation and take out the saturation, probably like that. We do, of course, want to turn off the animation for the noise because we don't actually want that. And the ramp behavior doesn't work quite right, as you can see. So we would have to probably discard that or animate it in a different way by animating this group at the top here. And the last thing I'm going to point out is that if we wanted this indentation to be less extreme, we could come back into our face color and we could just reduce the brightness, and then you can see it's a lot shallower. So down to around sort of 80%. Actually really rather nice, I think, like that. A little bit more subtle. So quite a simple, elegant effect, and I'm sure you can find some interesting uses for it. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.